What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and today, unfortunately, we have to start with bad news. I mean, everybody's been so optimistic. We're so excited for the season and opener against Pittsburgh in only a couple of days, but in what some people would kind of call like typical Jets fashion, we have to start with bad news. And that bad news is that, unfortunately, our stud offensive lineman, Elijah Vera-Tucker, is down not only for week one, but maybe for the entire 2025 season. He suffered a serious tricep injury. Some people are fearing that it could be season ending, okay? He's going to get a second opinion. They're going to see if surgery is necessary. Remember, AVT went down with a tricep injury back in 2022, but that was on the other arm, okay? So listen, this offensive line has really been what I thought was going to be the anchor of this entire team, of this run game, of being physical up front. You hear other people talking about what AVT can do. AVT, I thought, was in line to get the next big contract. He was just named captain, for goodness sakes, right? So make no mistake about it, this is a huge blow. You also see here that he allowed a pressure rate of just 4.3%. That was third best among guards last year, among, in next-gen stats, right? So clearly a top-of-the-line offensive lineman going down right on the precipice. I think what's going to wind up happening, remember, we talked about this with Josh Myers and Joe Tippmann. They were going to move one of them over to guard, and that's what's going to probably happen, right? And this O-line is going to be tested. This was what I thought was going to be the lead punch of this offense, and we lose one of our best offensive linemen literally days before the season to what could be a season-ending injury. And quite frankly, the Jets were going to have a serious test against the Pittsburgh Steelers anyway, right? They have been dominant on the offensive line. They've been able to run the ball, but the Pittsburgh Steelers have a good front seven. I mean, look at the Steelers' run defense last year. 6th fewest yards allowed in the NFL. Tied for the 4th lowest yards per carry last year. Only 15.3 avoided tackles against them. 6th best. 2nd best in terms of yards after contact. They didn't allow explosive runs for more than 10 yards, right? So it was going to be a test anyway, and now it looks like the Jets are doing it without Elijah Vera-Tucker, and AVT may be gone for a while. So that is the headline news. Unfortunately, literally 2 episodes of Jets Latest before week 1 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is kind of Jet luck, and I know some people out there are saying same old Jets, but let's still be optimistic. I still want to see if this Jets offensive line can dominate the line of scrimmage. Let's talk about someone who is returning from injury, at least, right? Maybe that's a silver lining. AVT goes down, but one guy I am really excited to see is Jermaine Johnson, right? Jermaine Johnson, remember, had the Achilles injury early in the season last year. Will McDonald absolutely broke out with double-digit sacks. We talked about him as an elite pressure guy, and now he's going to have Jermaine Johnson on the other side. We heard Aaron Glenn and others talk about what this pass-rushing combo could do, and if the Jets aren't moving the ball or mauling people on offense, they're going to have to rely on their defense a little bit more against Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. So look at what Jermaine Johnson, and there's been so many quotes from Jermaine Johnson. He is certainly itching and ready to return against the Pittsburgh Steelers. On his rehab and return, check it out. He goes, "I'm excited, but not surprised. I know the man God has formed me into, and I know this was another thing he wanted to put me through to have me hit the next level. I'm doing everything I used to do. I feel better than I did. I'm still explosive. Everything's there. And now I'm mentally stronger. I'm emotionally stronger. I'm more confident." And then he was asked about facing Aaron Rodgers, right? He says, "I don't care who's back there. I got a job to do for this team. Whoever the quarterback is, I get paid to put him down." And then you see some of his stats. When he was back here as a full-time starter in 2023, Jets Latest people know about this, right? But the sacks were there. The pressure rate was there. That is on par kind of with where Will McDonald was, right? Top 20 in the edge, 11 stops, leading the Jets there. And his versatility, right? He had the pressures, the run stops, and also passes defense. I mean, Jermaine Johnson is going to be a big addition to this defense. And remember, he and Will McDonald never really came together, so I'm excited. Everybody, it seems like, is downplaying the chance to go after the former quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. But one thing specifically about Jermaine Johnson, he did note that he talked to Aaron Rodgers because remember, Jermaine Johnson coming back from an Achilles injury, the same kind of injury that Aaron Rodgers had. So he did say that he looked to Aaron Rodgers for kind of insights, mentorship in coming back from the Achilles, but it don't matter. He's in another uniform and he's going to be chasing him down on Sunday. The other part of the defense we got to talk about is the secondary. And when we talk about the secondary, we have to talk about Sauce Gardner. Sauce Gardner also talking about how, yeah, it was good to have Aaron Rodgers there, but we're not making a big deal about it. You've heard Aaron Rodgers say it. You've heard Justin Fields say it, right? Downplaying this kind of revenge narrative. Listen to what Sauce Gardner had to say. He goes, it was a great experience, being able to pick his brain. This about Aaron Rodgers. He spent a lot of time in the league, experienced a lot of things, so it was a great time. We're all human, though, and we use things as motivation. There's things that I use as motivation. I'm sure there's guys across this locker room that would say the same thing. So I say that because they're not talking about it. Aaron Glenn's not talking about it. Justin Fields not talking about it. Sauce, Jermaine Johnson want to have the right speak. But they are all excited to get after Aaron Rodgers in week 1. They know his tendencies. They know his strengths. And they're excited to put the pressure on him. And obviously, Aaron Rodgers also knows the strength of Sauce Gardner. If you are new to Jets Latest. And by the way, become a Jets Latest insider. You can click on the link in that description. Thank you to so many people who have found the channel, who are giving positive feedback, watching, liking, subscribing. But if you don't know, Sauce's stats are absolutely ridiculous, right? His PFF coverage grade, his pass breakups, his league low 0.6 yards per cover snap since he has come into the league, literally the best in the NFL. And the thing I keep on talking about is that his talents are going to be leveraged even better under Aaron Glenn, who last year with the Detroit Lions played man over 60% of the time, the most in the NFL. So I really think that Aaron Glenn has a lot of man coverage in store for Sauce, for Brandon Stephens, for A.Z. Thomas, whoever will be there, and hopefully with Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald getting after Aaron Rodgers, that will be a big part of it as well. But I don't want to bury the lead. Once again, the big news here is that Elijah Vera-Tucker is down with a tricep injury, and it could in fact be season ending. And really, the O-line was such a strength here, and having that be compromised by one of our best O-linemen going down literally days before the season, it is not good. We'll see what happens with AVT. Otherwise, we're relatively healthy, but shouldn't everybody be going into week 1? So we'll see what happens on the offensive side. I told you we could cook Jalen Ramsey. Maybe we're going to have to do a little bit more of that. Jermaine Johnson, Sauce Gardner, they're all excited to get after A-Rod. That'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. Remember, like the channel, watch the channel, subscribe to the channel, tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend. And if you want more, become a Jets Latest insider, more exclusive content, other insights around fantasy football, sports gambling. Remember, that's how I came to this work. I'm the host of the FTN Fantasy Show over on SiriusXM, channel 87. I do live betting over on Sports Grid. So many ways that Spit and Statistician can help you win your leagues and win that cash. Let's also see, I appreciate everybody who engages. Let's see what some of you guys have to say. Bird Flu KFC says, AVT done, dude. Gets hurt more than my granny. He did have this same injury on the other side in 2022. I think it really compromises him also to get in that long-term deal. And that's something that I feel bad for the guy. I mean, when he's out there, he is literally one of the best guards in the NFL. Remember about a week or two ago, I talked and showed you how John Simpson, our other guard, was talking about, I watched that tape. This guy is our leader on the offensive line. So it is a big blow. Happy Eddie McGuire out there says, it's a passing league. However, the smart team started flipping back to the run a couple of years ago to take advantage of smaller passing Ds, right? Because you're right. With the passing league, the defense, you didn't have that big stud middle linebacker to try to stop the run. You had a lot of nickel coverage. You had a lot of safeties that converted to play linebacker because of the passing league. And some teams did start to punch them in the mouth. Here on Jets Latest, I talk about it. Baltimore Ravens, Philadelphia Eagles, Washington Commanders, Detroit, Tampa, all teams that ran the ball well and made the playoffs. That's what I think the Jets hopefully still can do. Happy Eddie McGuire says, RO will be fine because it's a power running game with creative sets. And then the the Garrett Wilson as our alpha, and the occasional Arian Smith over the top. He goes, most fans and content creators are tripping on a wide receiver too, and it gives me credit because I'm not one of them. I still think we have enough in the passing game. The only question is the impact of that O-line. The O-line really sets a higher floor because they perform so well. So we'll see what happens on that. And then George Torres GW9TD says, love your channel, bro. I would love to talk football with you for hours. Well, listen, I'm always into talking football. As you can see, I am here every single day, and I really do enjoy engaging with you guys, the subscribers, commenting. You could also hit me up on Twitter, okay, or social media at Spittin' Speeds. You could hit me up on the radio shows. You could also tell a friend to tell a friend about Jets Latest, because I'm bringing you the updates, the insights, the stats, and that football knowledge that some people want to talk to me for hours about the Jets, Jets. I'll be back tomorrow with our final episode before the Glennaissance and Justin Fields begin, and before we have week 1 against Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Come back tomorrow for that. But for now, we out of here. Peace.